Russia's president, Vladimir Putin, is the very key person in country's history in the last 25 years. He has come a very long way, from a young 47-year-old, promising, healthy, sober, disciplined, well-spoken replacement of ever-drunk Boris Yeltsin, to be the only Russia's president with an outstanding warrant for his arrest, charged with war crimes by the International Court in Hague. And simply put, he is the most hated person in the entire world now. Yeah, he's come a long way. You know, he was the hope for Russian people in the first months of 2000. First months of the new century. Russia was finally getting a good Tsar. Well, guess what? There's not such a thing as the good Tsar. Vladimir Putin put his ring of power on January 2000, and 23 years later, it is clear that he will not take it off by his will. In this live stream, I'll explain why Vladimir Putin will not stop what he started. Howdy everyone, my name is Konstantin and welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained, as usual, by the unusual Russian. What you will not find here is propaganda, BS or lies. What you will find is truth, common sense and logic, and some emotions, because I am a human being. I'll talk of the Tsar today. And after I turn on the live stream, I'd love to hear from you. What do you think? What's your opinion? First things first. Let me make it clear to you who I think is responsible. Responsible for many things, but the two biggest dark deeds, that has happened in Russian history recently, the darkest deeds, that Putin is responsible. Putin has done the deeds and he will be held responsible for them in this world or in the afterlife, Their two deeds are ruining Russia and waging the war on Ukraine. Now, ruining Russia is not really anyone's concern but that of Russian people. Russian people, and only that's it. The Russians are the ones who are in charge of their country and their lives, plain and simple. If they let one guy ruin everything for them, hey, it's their business, it's their choice. They want to live in poverty, not knowing what liberty is. It's their choice. We all get what we deserve in this life, after all. This is what I firmly believe. And I will not even discuss this thing of ruining Russia today. But waging the war in Ukraine is very different. Russia started interfering in neighbor's life. Not just interfering, but invaded the neighbor. Tried to force own rules on the neighbor. Started killing neighbor's people due to the neighbor not willing to go along with Russia and willing to be independent. And that is a no-no. So Putin is responsible. He has made the decision. He made the decision in late February, and he let us in the entire world know that. He's responsible directly for this war. Russian people are also responsible, although indirectly, if they do not support the war and they do not take any participation in this madness, okay? Those who support and those who press buttons and let the rockets fly and kill Ukrainians, of course, they are as responsible as Vladimir Putin, okay? But even those who do not make decisions, who do not press the buttons, who do not shoot, they're still responsible because they're taxpayers and voters. Myself, personally, I'm very responsible. And I feel terrible because of that. But the decision was made by one person only. He pressed the button. He launched the missiles. He ordered Russian troops to violate the Ukrainian border and invade it. He is the one responsible. He ordered to start this war. And he can also finish the war. He can stop it. There have been many questions here at Inside Russia about, they go something like this. Why doesn't Putin simply stop the war and move the troops back to Russia, and this whole mess, disaster, tragedy will be stopped? To me, it's obvious that it will not happen. And this is why. I will try to explain you in simple language, in the most simplistic way that I can. I divide Putin's time at the throne of Russia into two parts. When he became the president for the first time, he acquired certain power, far from absolute power. Remember, we're talking about Russia 2000 now. Still, he had quite a bit of power in his hands. And his primary goal was to enrich himself. I think that in the first years of the presidency, he didn't think or dream of ruling forever. He stated many times, dozens of times, everywhere, in public, that he'd step down as the president. He'd follow Russian constitution. I remember it well, it's on record, and guess what? He did. I remind you, Vladimir Putin stepped down as the president of Russia in 2008, according to the very last letter of the Russian constitution. Dmitry Medvedev was his successor. That fact alone proves that in the first years, Putin was about money, not about absolute power. The system he was building, the vertical of power, was supposed to enrich him, make him rich, make him money, enrich him. And later, after he would cease being the president, to protect him. Protect his money, protect his riches. If he was out for the power in the first place, he would not have given up his throne. He would not have placed Medvedev on his chair, so to speak. He would have acted differently, but he didn't. He actually stepped down. Was he happy about that? No, not really. I saw the pictures. I remember, those pictures all over the places, magazines and newspapers, internet. He didn't look well when he was stepping down, but he did step down, and that's what is important. Now, ask yourself this question. How do you enrich yourself in Russia if you're a top-ranked politician or even the president of the country? Your monthly salary is only around 10,000 US dollars. Well, that certainly won't make you a millionaire, let alone billionaire, let alone the richest person in the world. So how do you get rich? Well, obviously by stealing. Not necessarily direct stealing. I doubt that Putin has ever stolen anything in the last 23 years during his presidency. But he acted smarter than that. He placed his closest friends into the positions where they could steal. It's them who started getting rich directly of the system Putin was building. He used his power in his hands to enrich his friends. And we could only guess of agreements that were made between him and his friends, I can only guess. But you know what? Sooner or later, we will know about them. Some people estimate that around Now listen to this very carefully. $1 trillion were stolen by Putin's people. 1 trillion. So the first term, first 8 years, they were about money. And what happened after Medvedev's term, after Medvedev's 4 years? We saw a different Putin. The riches that he had acquired, they were not satisfying him any longer. I think, and I cannot state it as a matter of fact, but I think that he missed the power that he had lost. My precious, those of you who saw The Lord of the Rings, he had the power and lost it. He had my precious, and he lost it. He wanted it back, real bad. And he got it. That was his personal Rubicon that he crossed. The Rubicon that separated him from a human being and a golem who desired power way too much. The first alarm sounded when Dmitry Medvedev was preparing to announce his decision to go for the second term. I remember that day quite vividly. Dmitry Medvedev was planning on going for the second term. It was semi-confirmed by all his team, all his friends, his family. Everyone knew that Medvedev had made his choice, had made his decision to go for the second term. And I guess it was way against what they made with the deal that he made with Putin about just, keeping his chair for 4 years. So I also remember this United Russia huge convention with all who is who in Russian politics. And I remember that everyone was prepared to hear Dmitry Medvedev saying, 4 more years, 4 more years, second term. And I remember when he said, I am not going to run, and the person who I suggest and I recommend is Vladimir Putin. I remember everyone's face dropped. I remember the close-ups, they were like, what? I guess it wasn't Medvedev's choice, but he was made an offer he absolutely could not refuse. Because he wanted power also, but, he made his choice, and most likely that was a wise choice. Otherwise, he wouldn't be alive for a long time, So that day, that separated Putin from a human being and a golem, desiring power too much. And after Putin became the president for the third time, his second term, so to speak, for the third time in 2012, he immediately started getting resistance. From who? From regular people. Remember Bolotnaya square meeting? Well, I remember. I was there. Tons of people, all kinds of people, politicians, famous people, even government officials, and they were all speaking up against Vladimir Putin, against him being the president for the third term. And I also remember, not so much of the people, I remember the cops, because I was right next to the cops and I looked at them and they were confused. They didn't know what to do. It was for the first time in the history of modern Russia that such an opposition meeting was happening. It was a real force. And the cops, they were not armed. They were just standing there, letting people say anything they wanted to say, letting them do anything they wanted to do. the opposition solidified right then at Bolotnaya, and Putin understood that people started getting angry. The more terms, the more time of his presidency, they just were not going to fly because the people were getting together. So Putin's priorities changed. For the first time, he started protecting his power, protecting not the riches, but his power. Next big opposition event that happened, the meeting after Bolotnaya. Bolotnaya happened in the very last days of December of 2011. I believe it was December 11th or something like that. So the next big opposition event happened after Bolotnaya. It happened in May. And boy, was the situation different. Riot police in full gear, not your typical police officers, but the riot police with batons and shields and everything, and guns. The brutal violence, arrests shook the country because people had not been arrested before for speaking up publicly, opposing current president or current government. And the real prison terms followed. We were all shocked. Russian people, they just started getting a little bit of fear for the first time. And Putin showed everyone, he sent everyone the message, I will not go. And we all kind of know what happened after. Beefing up the Siloviki, those who can use violence against people, the KGB, army, military, not the police force, riot police, attorney general office, the prosecution, and so forth. Beefing up, making them stronger, giving them more rights, stripping rights from people, changing constitution that allowed him to remain the president for 3 more terms, 6 in total, etc. The year 2012 to 2022, 10 years, is really the time of demise of Russia. Russian government, Vladimir Putin, slowly, step by steps, they used stepping stones strategy. They started destroying Russia, destroying Russia's civil society. And they did a fantastic job at that, Vladimir Putin didn't stop for anything. I'm gonna name you a few names, and I think you will know what I mean. Nemtsov, Politkovskaya, Litvinenko, Skripal, Navalny. Do you remember what happened to them? The game changed. Vladimir Putin went too far, to the point where you cannot turn around anymore and, start from zero, so to speak. The game went too far where you burn bridges and they're gone behind you. If Putin loses power now and is not the president any longer, he's not gonna retire and live in his dacha, summer house, writing memoirs and going around lecturing students at universities. No, folks, you gotta understand one simple thing. This is the game of life for him. If he loses his power, if he is dethroned, if someone replaces him as the president, he loses everything he has. He goes to jail and then he dies. And probably he dies before he goes to jail. So this is the end game. So he cannot lose. And how you not lose in this power game? Well, simply by constantly moving, going forward, and raising stakes. He introduced the idea of the enemy at the gate in 2012, and that was raising stakes, and it actually went well with the Russian people. They were no enemy countries that surrounded Russia, but Russian people bought it. He annexed Crimea, and he started the hiatus at Donbass, and Russian people bought it. And every time he raised stakes like that, he solidified his power for a few more years. So that was his way of remain on the top of the pyramid. Okay. What happened in 2022 is a tragic mistake for him. It was another time to raise stakes. So Putin thought that, hey, I'll take Ukraine in 3 days, in a 3-day operation, and that will solidify my power for a few more years. And I'll come up with something else, something new, something even stronger. I'll raise more stakes, or I'll raise the stakes higher. So, and that's where it went wrong. Today is day 586 of what was supposed to be a few-day operation. Hundreds of thousands of people have been killed. Ukraine has been made by Putin himself. It has been made by Russia's worst enemy. Well, for one simple reason: Russia invaded Ukraine, started waging the war in Ukraine for no reason, and started killing Ukrainians. This is crazy. Russian economy is getting ruined. Russian people are getting the bad side of the stick, so to speak. The Russian people's lives are getting ruined bit by bit. Russia's image has been, I think if I say it's been ruined, I think it's a big understatement. It's been destroyed, annihilated, okay? And everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. And here comes the question. Why doesn't he turn around and stop the war? And that's what I've been asked many, many times. In the comments, in the conversations, in the live stream chat, why doesn't he just stop the war? Why doesn't he just turn around and, this ends everything? For one simple reason: Putin cannot afford to lose his power. Otherwise, he'll get killed. That's how it works in Russia. You're on the top of a pyramid. If you lose your power, you lose everything. Like I said, I already said that. The guy who comes after you takes everything that you have, blames you for everything, and kills you. Putin will not stop because he wants to live. He cannot explain why he started the war. Denazification and demilitarization will not work. This is a very lame explanation. It's a lie, okay? And its lie is such a horrendous lie that Russian propaganda does not even bring it up anymore, okay? They know this is just a shame to say that. Now, all Russian people understand the explanation that Putin and propaganda gave us in the beginning was bogus. He cannot back and withdraw. He simply cannot do that. And he cannot win. So he cannot go back because the questions are waiting for him that are bigger than his life. The questions will consume his life, okay? And he cannot move further. He cannot win this war because the whole world is behind courageous Ukrainian armed forces. Okay, the entire world is supporting Ukraine. And the Russian army, well, what can you expect from an army where you steal $1 trillion American dollars, $1 trillion in 20 years, including strip the money, dry? What do you expect from from your army to be the best army in the world? Yeah, how about the worst army in the world? So he cannot win this war. And this is why he will not stop. Death is awaiting for him back back in Russia from his own people and from the Russian citizens, and death, is awaiting if he stops, and death is awaiting for him forward, up ahead in Ukraine if he doesn't win. So he's really encircled by death, and the circle is tightening. And, he knows that very well. He keeps on moving, he keeps on running, he keeps on knocking on doors, exploring opportunities, because if he stops, he dies. This is why I think he'll be out of the door by the end of the year, one way or another. I think it's impossible for us to say how, but it's very probable that he will be. Putin will be stopped one way or another, but he will not stop on his own will. Vladimir Putin and what he's done to Russia is a lesson to all of you folks. I was gonna say it's a lesson to all of us, but no, it's not a lesson to us Russians anymore. We messed up. We Russians are the lesson. We are responsible, regular people, the taxpayers and the voters. You look at what we have let a small group of people do to us, to our lives. You look at how we have let them ruin our lives, not just for us, but they ruin the lives of our kids and grandparents. You look at that and you be afraid, be very afraid. Be afraid not to repeat that same mistake. Always keep checks on your government. Don't let the strong man run your country. Otherwise, friends, you will get your own Putin. Do not make your mistakes. Learn from ours. And this has been my message for today. I will be glad to answer your questions, and please, let me know what you think. I would love to hear your opinion. Let me turn on the live stream chat. Oops. While I'm doing that, I would like to ask you to help me out a little bit by spreading this message. The more people see it, the more YouTube algorithm likes it. So if you make reposts in your social media accounts, I'd really appreciate that. And if you'd like to buy me a coffee or a tea, I'm drinking English breakfast by Twinings, and I'm running out of it, by the way. So I would really appreciate it. I wouldn't mind that. So thank you so much. It's darn good tea. So let's do it. The live stream chat is the best time for me. When I hit that button, turn the live stream chat on, this whole thing comes alive. If you're here for the first time, folks, this is the best community on the internet, and we have the best moderation team, consisting of Lorna, Mommy K, Bob S, Harry Potnan, and Prince Amir Fasad. Thank you, friends, for coming back, and also thank you, the usual suspects. Dirk, have you ever missed one stream? You're always there, and so good to see the usual names: Airborne Snail, Carino, Samsa, Jodes Rames, and I can go on and on and on. Thank you so much for coming. My honor to have you here. If you want me to see your messages or questions better, please put them in caps, in all caps, and put inside Russia after red sign so I can see the highlighted question, the highlighted comment. Thank you so much. And without further ado, I'll just jump into the all caps or highlighted questions. Harry Potnan, thank you so much, Harry. Fantastic to see you. Alex from Denmark, howdy. Eileen, Pentium, Doxymom, Jonah Byra, Justeri, Pamela J, Kyle E, Kevin Baker, Nixie, Great Southern Land, KG1, Lilith Eden, Fairy Jack, 2 minutes to midnight. Fantastic names, fantastic to see everyone. Bob S, Keith, howdy. Petra Olsen, thank you so much for sending love and sending you love back from Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Prince Amir, thank you for gifting 5 sponsorship to people, and thank you from me and from 5 people. Fantastic to have you aboard. Daniel McInnes, thank you so much from Canada. And RW, friend, thank you for coming back, and it's fantastic to see you. Keep on praying for you. You know, you are in my and Natasha's hearts. Just a warm howdy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Financial support is much appreciated, but your words and your attention is absolutely priceless. So everyone knows RW is a long-time subscriber. He mailed me. We had a conversation a few times, and he's one of the few people I ever made the Zoom calls with, and he offered me help if I ever would come to the United States. I could use his place and all kinds of help, and this really is, that's much more valuable than money, than super chats, than sponsorships and stuff like that. Trust me, that makes me feel what really good, so thank you, friend. Fishmar, thank you. Very concerning, geopolitically speaking, for the most part, that Putin met with Taliban. I fear a push for land grabbing in your current area in consolidated way. No, that's not going to happen. Well, speaking with Taliban is always concerning. Taliban have an official embassy about a mile from my apartment, by the way. Yeah, there's a hotel, and this is where they stay, and you can always see the Afghan, the cars, like big expensive trucks with Afghan license plates, and that's Taliban people. They're permanently present here in Kazakhstan, unofficially. But they're not gonna take Uzbekistan because there are other powers involved, big ones like the United States. And it's not in the interest of the United States to let Uzbekistan go. Taliban would have to go through Tajikistan first. Actually, they could from the south of Uzbekistan. Well, anyway, this is not a concern. I don't think that it'll happen. But thank you so much. And Bruce, fantastic to see you. You've been a sponsor for 18 months. Thank you so very much. Checking in. Well, every time you check in, that's fantastic. Thank you. And Jason Carney, thank you for coming back and making a huge splash again. Thank you, the champion of super chatting, from me and from Natasha, from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you, and for the sponsorships, of course. Allison Marlowe, howdy. Bakerstock, hello. Dan Coldwell, always great to see you. Elsha. I'm gonna stop here, okay? Elsha, first of all, thank you so much. You're a fantastic member of Inside Russia community and the Insider. Russian Insider, right? But you just wrote something that really touches my heart. You say the best stream ever. It means I've heard that before from different people, okay? And it means that people like what I do and they keep on liking, okay? And when they say that, this is the best stream ever, I did lots of good streams, the ones I like myself. I did 500 plus live streams, okay? And hearing that this is your best stream ever, it really is heartwarming. Folks, you can count on me. I'll keep on going. I will do my best of making this best streams ever, more and more of them. So Elsha, thank you so much. George Schuberty, who will replace Putin? I don't know. That's the question I cannot tell you. And a lot of people make up things, make up names. I don't know. It's impossible for now to say. What would be the good analogy? How will the next hurricane go? Like which path? We don't know. It might go, it might hit central Florida, or it might go south to the Caribbean. It might go up, towards the Bermudas. We don't know, but what we can know for sure is there will be a hurricane in the Atlantic. Okay, there will be many, but we just don't know the path. Same thing with who will succeed Putin. We don't know. Whew. Thank you, George. I hope you're feeling better, feeling good. Kevin Baker. So Kevin, where are you from? Real estate team. So where is your real estate company is at? Given what we know, the war and the end of Putin regime will come when some organization within Russia will take the big gamble. In the gamble, they must have 100% success. Well, we had one take already, and the chances of success were pretty high, but the guy decided that he wouldn't move further. We all know what happened to him. You're absolutely right. I agree with your statement. The end of Putin will come when some organization within Russia will take the big gamble. I keep on repeating that I think that the win for Ukraine will not come from the front lines, but it will come from inside Russia. And that's exactly when it's going to happen, when someone within Russia will take a step, will take a gamble. I don't think it's going to be a big gamble. I think it's going to be a planned operation. Okay, so thank you so much. White Lightning, what sort of bribe or security guarantee could be offered to Putin so that he stops the war, gives the people, and land back to Ukraine? I don't think that anything can be offered and made a deal with him. No, he would love, I think he would love to come to terms. And if he could, he would have given up Ukrainian land, no problem, just take it. Crimea and, everything. It's just how he's going to face the questions from the Russians. The mad Russians who gonna be looking at him and saying, wait a second, what the fudge? And what were you telling us all this 10 years? And now what you did this? So he's not going to do that. That's what I'm saying. Back then, death awaits him. Okay? I don't think that any kind of a deal can be arranged with Putin now. It's out of the deal territory into a different one, Maria, howdy and welcome. You are supporting for the first time and asking me a question. There's a saying, sometimes God gives us the leaders that we need, and sometimes he gives us the leaders that we deserve. I've never heard this phrase, but I like it very much. Thank you. I pray that very soon God will give Russia the leader they desperately need. I like it so much, I'm gonna make a screenshot of it. Thank you. the questions or the ideas or the sayings I like very much, that resonate some like inside. I make notes. I note. I make screenshots anyway. Jake Allen, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for your support from Australia. As usual, you do not ask questions or do not say anything. Don't send messages, but your messages are big enough. Thank you so much. They're heard. They're loud. Thank you. Charlie B from Pacific Beach. Howdy, friend. Frank in Texas. Howdy. The Underdog. Long time no see. Must be working. I heard the gulp of tea. What do you mean? Can you hear my sound? Did you just hear that? Ferrari guy, howdy. Folks, what the fudge? I have sound is perfect here. What's going on? I have sound is perfect here. What's going on? No, S77B is not off, that's for sure. No, S77B is not off, that's for sure. No, S77B is not off. Well, at least I turned it on. I don't know. Sound is okay. Sounds great. Thank you, friends. Whew. The worst thing is like when you deliver the message and then you turn the live stream on and like there's no sound. And that's happened twice. And you go, fudge. The big mic in front of him. Yeah, this is a 7B. Sound is good. The heck is it? I hope it's working. Slight echo. If it's echo, then it's not this microphone. Anyway. Eric, thank you so much. Oil refinery capacity is down by a lot in Russia. Why? Sabotage, lack of spare parts. Good question. I'll answer just in a second. Walter Tollefson, thank you so much. Welcome to Inside Russia, new sponsor. Much appreciated. Please come back for a private sponsor only live stream and patron only live stream on Saturday. And there's a good question from Eric. Oil refinery capacity is down. And yes, by a lot. And there are different reasons for that. I don't think there's much sabotage going on. But I think, first of all, Ukrainians have done pretty good job on striking the refineries. Even last summer, it was the first places they started striking. I remember I was in Rostov last summer. Not this one, but 2022. And guess what happened? There was a raid, 2 drones on a refinery not too far from Rostov, 40 miles. Since then, there have been multiple strikes on different refineries. And I think that's the biggest concern of the capacity. And the thing is, a refinery is a very complicated facility. And there's so much of technology cramped into the facility. And guess what? That technology is not Russian. The spare parts are not Russian. They're not made in Russia. So I think these two things combined, they have made this a big issue for Russia, because guess what? Gasoline and diesel is not only needed by cars and tractors and the transporting vehicles, they also are needed by the tanks. Mr. Wastelander, what do most Russians think about Russia teaming up with China, the Taliban, and North Korea? They don't think anything, because no one in Russia is saying anything about teaming up with China, the Taliban, and North Korea. Okay? They thought that China is going to help Russia out, but China basically showed the finger. Okay? And now Russians, the propaganda keeps silent about all these three countries. And now the narrative they're pushing is, oh, we're on for ourselves. We're on our own, that type of thing. So Russians aren't thinking of anything about teaming up with them, these countries. Does Slovakian election result gives a boost to Putin regime? I don't think so. Why would it be? To have an ally in the West, I'm not sure. I don't think Slovakia is going to be an ally. Perhaps it's not going to be not as harsh as it used to be. That's all. I mean, who in the right mind, what Western politician would ally with Russia? European politician. That's crazy. Lorraine Prosnowski, howdy. We have Mindgaus. I'm pretty bad with names. Mindaugas, right? Good to see you. From your name, I judge that you're from one of the Baltic states. Welcome, and it's really heartwarming for me to see anyone from Lithuania, Estonia, or Latvia. What do you think of the nukes? I don't think they will be used. The nukes is a completely... Putin wants to live. He doesn't want to die. I've spoken to quite a few people at different positions, and this decision is universal. Putin's not going to use them. If he goes mad and tries to use them, he's not the one who presses the button. There are 8 people in the chain between him pressing the button and actually nuke flying out. 8 people, okay? So, no. Jimmy Penrose from Edgecombe, Maine. Howdy, friend. Walter, with all the nuke threats coming from Russia, how educated are the Russian people regarding nukes and the history of their usage? Japan. I haven't seen many news lately coming out, like the nuke threats, but I've gotten very disappointed with Russian people. I don't think they are educated much on anything, and I don't think they know much of the history, of any history, their own history, let alone Japanese history. The educated ones, they are in Uzbekistan. They attend Breakfast Club. They are in Kazakhstan. They are in Turkey. They are in the United States and Canada. That's where they are. The ones are left in Russia. Questions about them. KG1. Okay, I already answered that. I think I'm caught up on the super chats. Thank goodness. Bjorn, it's an excellent observation. The Panama Papers could connect about 513 billions, not millions. No, come on, it can't be truth. It's not the millions, it's the billions. $1 billion. His old school buddy has. His last name is Roll Dugan. Look him up. He plays violoncello. What's his? I'm sorry. I forgot this English word. Hang on. Fiddler. Fiddle. He's a fiddler, okay? And all of a sudden, he's worth $1 billion. And that's just like a small guy used to live right next to Putin, growing up with him, okay? So imagine the scale of the riches that Vladimir Putin has. It's insane. Absolutely insane. So it's definitely not just 513 million. That's 513 billion. And that's what they found. Okay? Imagine what they haven't found. It's absolutely insane. Whew. Hang on 1 second. Off on the comments, I'm sorry. Jukes D, thank you so much. Every single dollar counts. Thank you. Howdy, Koshkin Dom. Riches gained by high oil prices. No, not just that. Oil prices, gas prices. And not just by high prices, but you can even get riches by low prices. Only if the thing is, you are given this company that extracts oil, all Russia's oil that belongs to people. Nah, it belongs to you now. Okay, that's how the riches are created, and that's how he's been creating them. You know, the metals, the ores, just you name anything, and that's how they've been making the riches. They've been stealing. You could probably live on $1 billion. Me too. You know. White lightning. I've heard it's been said that Putin's world's first trillionaire is possible. That's my point of the stream. Okay, people, the experts have been saying that he's stolen his friends, but he's created this network of business associates, you know, servants, you know, I don't know. And then it's been said that they have stolen over $1 trillion out of Russia since 2000. Not Magnus Carlson. Howdy, friend. Did you hear the Solovyov say that Russia shouldn't trust or do too much business with China? No, I don't. I don't listen to Solovyov that much. I only hear his outcries, so to speak. But if he said that, it's good. I like that. I like that a lot. Serves them well, teaches them well, you know. Petra Olson, thank you so much from Sweden. I appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gina, New York. Howdy, howdy. Are you in New York, or New York the state? Narimantas, howdy, howdy, friend from Lithuania. Hey, I've been to Lithuania, Klaipėda. I actually have relatives live there. Very distant relatives, but relatives, you know. I was there in 1988. I liked it very much. What a fantastic country you have. George Rames, I saw a video poll on the most virtuous country, and it was overwhelmingly Russia. Virtuous. I take it it's not good. Disheartening to say the least. That's what I'm saying. He destroyed Russia. He destroyed it for generations to come. It was done right in front of people's noses, you know. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. In a bad way. Mr. Wastelander, to follow up the question, IKEA, McDonald's, BMW, Starbucks, Apple, Carlsberg, H&M, etc. Western companies and brands leaving. Do Russians care? Surely the young people must care. Keep up the good work. Thank you. They left a long time ago. They left like 15 months ago. I made a video when McDonald's was closing right in front of me. Go and watch it. It's actually a pretty good video, you know. I made it in 30 minutes. I was just filming what was going on around me. Do Russians care? They do, of course. They do. And it's a very, very sophisticated question. Don't think that just IKEA, McDonald's, BMW, Starbucks, Apple, Carlsberg, don't think that's just them. Everyone left. Everyone has left. You gotta understand, everyone. There are very few companies that still remain in Russia. But most likely, it's not their fault. Most likely, they are placed in such circumstances by Russian government that they cannot leave. Because they are too big to fail, so to speak. If they leave, it's going to be a disaster, a hit for Russian economy. So most likely, their either shareholders or their top managers are being kept like blackmailed, something like that. So every time I hear of all this company staying, it's something fishy here because everyone has left. And they did it quickly. They did it within 3 months. A lot of Russian people care, but they are afraid. They are so scared, so they're gonna be prosecuted and punished that they're keeping their mouths shut. And older folks, they, a lot of them have lost their minds. So they care. They care. And you know what? A lot of those who care, they care enough to just leave Russia. Not because they are under risk of getting mobilized, but because they just don't like to be the part of that mad circus. You're looking at one of them. So thank you. Thank you so much. Folks, I'm getting too emotional, so I'd like to wrap it up and call it the end for today. Hang on. This is my prayer list. I'll remind you that I update it every 2 weeks. So if you want to be on the prayers list, please write the mods right here so the mods know when they'll send a message to me. Or write me an email. So far, I think I have not received emails, at least I don't remember, with prayer requests. But anyway, if you're religious, please pray with me. If you're not, still pray with me, but you can call it whatever you want. You can call it sending good vibes, good wishes, anything. So, let's do it. Let's do it. Thank you. Thank you so much, our dear Lord Jesus Christ, for giving us this wonderful day. Thank you for putting food on our tables and giving roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful, and give us wisdom to raise them when they grow up adults, they will do a better job at running this world than we have done, and they will make this world a better place. Meanwhile, please keep our children safe and healthy. Dear Lord, please stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. The country and people have suffered so much. Reach out and touch the hearts and souls of people responsible and capable, so they wake up from their lethargic sleep and make this decision to stop the bloodshed. Please do that. Help every single Ukrainian who has been affected. Answer the prayers and make their wishes come true. Please help my country, Russia. Assemble your strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael in shining armor, and send them like an avalanche to this world, so they come down and get rid of the demons that have hijacked my country. Please have angels run Russia for a change and make it peaceful, loving, loved, respecting, and respected. Please help all the travelers, send them safe travels, those who are seeking for asylum, those single mothers who are struggling raising their kids, trying to make ends meet. Please help those who are helping Ukrainians and help the Ukrainians who are suffering from the Russian attacks right now. Please help the depressed, the addicted, the homeless, the jobless, the sick, the ones who aren't feeling well about themselves and about their life, the ones who are struggling with their faith, the ones who have been betrayed and hurting. Please shine your heavenly light upon every person in need. Please help them. Please send your angels to help them. Surround them on your warmth and fill their hearts with love, so they will feel better about themselves and about their lives, and they'll have a chance at happy life. Dear Lord, thank you so much for allowing us to come into this wonderful community every single day. Thank you for allowing us to pray together. Please help everyone who is praying along with me or simply watching us pray. Please answer every single prayer and make every single wish come true. Thank you, dear Lord. I have some people I would like to ask you about. They need your help. And I'll start with a little girl. Her name is Sarah. She's fighting for her life. She needs your help. She needs angels and she needs strength from you. Please help her recover. Help her breathe. Help her fight all the infections. Please help her parents. Give them strength and hear their constant prayers. Have the girl completely recover and go home with her mom and dad, and so they all have happy long life, and she would appreciate how great parents she has. Thank you. I also would like to ask you for Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Svetlana, Richard Burris, Angelic at Life, Randolph, Mr. Dean Spooner and his church called Our Savior Lutheran Church, Grace Philosophy, Rafaela Fromm, Karen, EMS Paramedic Liz, Susie Mailer, Jason Connor, please help to recover from the surgery, Janice Stevenson, Jay Spike, Leslie Fleming's daughter, Bas Semen, Sam from Kiev, Wayne, who is fighting 2 cancers, Anna in Poland, Scan families members who are having troubles with health, Summers 613 mother, please send recovery. Julia Haney, Vasilin Lubomirov, Gloria Roberts, Ann Larson, her family, and daughter Hannah, Lise Dumbrell and her family, White Lightning, George Ruberty, Pam, Finola, the Highwayman, Stefan from Sweden, David Porter, his family and daughter, and everyone from Chernovtsi, Ukraine, Joan Lee McMahon, Meta Spencer, Pamela J., and Taylor Fleming. I also would like to ask for all children from Ukraine who have been affected by this terrible tragedy. Please send them help. And all children who are not feeling well right now, please send them recovery. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, friends, for coming, giving me another chance. You are absolutely awesome and you rock. And I want to tell you it's an honor to have you here. Thank you for giving me a chance again today. I will come back with another message. Don't miss it. Usual time, usual place. And before I sign off, I would like to ask everyone the usual to say along as loud as you can. Just follow me. Carthago delenda est.